Hey there, friends. It's your favorite neighborhood nerd, Simone. I am so excited to be here today. We had a winter storm this past week, and it is beautiful and brilliant. And I'm still in my backyard, still where I always am. But today I am snowshoeing. Where I'm planning on going down to that teeny tiny little hill that you see back there. Let me right here. Loop around and come back up. And let me show you what I look like. Precisely what I'm wearing. Snowshoes. And I can't even tell you how annoyed I am. So this right one is looping over this way, and I don't know, I tried to adjust it right now, but I always feel like it's doing this instead of going straight, which is where I'm like, yeah, this is your neurospicy brain, because I cannot stop thinking about it. I cannot stop obsessing about it. And I would just love to rip them off and roll on the floor because it's not working the way I want it to work. And when I show my husband or ask him if he is experiencing something similar, he looks at me like I'm completely gone ballistic. So, I'm not sure how much you want to see out of this. Oh man, it is just so stunning, so beautiful. So, I received a super interesting thing in the mail from my friend Isabel. So, I actually don't really know the backstory. These are glass dip nibs. This looks like it's already broken, maybe? I don't know. Like something... Oh no, it's the other way around. Okay, cool. That makes more sense to me now. And then you would... So, here, there is the backstory. I received these glass dip nibs. I don't really know what the backstory is to them exactly. But these are super old. And what she told me about them is that they are... you would grind them yourself, basically. So you would use paper to, what we use to nibs. What is that called? Wow, now I'm blanking. And then so that you would get it in smoothed the way that you enjoy using it. And I thought we could look at this together. I am just not really sure how this goes in here, but maybe I don't really need to have it in there all the way. This looks okay. There's a spare nib, and we're just gonna try our hand at this. What I want to pull out, obviously, is my ink and some things, some mesh that I can use to maybe grind it. So I have all of these things here. This is some sandpaper. Is that what it's called? Oh man, I have no clue. Weirdly, I don't remember any of that right now. I think that's all I need. This is all the stuff that I don't need. So I have my ink journal right here, and I always lose my divider or whatever, pencil board. There we go. Not sure why I'm having such a hard time with words today, but I am so glad you are here. And I'm so glad we get to play with things and explore these. I feel like I need another clip right here so this doesn't always come up here. No. Maybe like that, yes. So what I'm suggesting is, I have no idea. Let's look at this one more time and a little closer. It's super, the tip is super pointy. I think what I want to do is dip it in. Maybe I'll write a title because I love titles. All right, this is a Pilot Parallel. In, what is the size? 2.4 millimeters, and it is inked with Dewy Starlight by Wearingool. So I feel like I should just dip this in, and it feels like it's tight. Okay, now I touched it with my hands. Well, we'll see. I'll dip it in. We carefully try to see what it looks like unfinished, and then I think the best guess that I have with this is actual sandpaper. This is a very, very fine grit, but these are even finer. These, well, maybe this one here as well could work. We'll see. I also don't know how much ink this holds. Okay, so, oh wow. Well, it does transfer ink from the glass onto the paper, so that's good. But it's super fine. I would feel like super anxious about the glass in this wooden holder. Okay, so there's all that it is gone. So let's try and see what happens. Oh wow, that sound is not for me. Now the problem is, as you can see here, it is moving. Maybe I am doing something wrong? Let's see what it feels like or what happens, and maybe we need to rinse it with water. I guess this is going to be a very exploratory video right now, and not just that, also weird sounds might happen, and I will be having very dirty hands. So if I could get this to hold on tighter, I think I would be happier. So how about I'll put on gloves so I'm not getting super duper dirty. Other side. Yeah. That is weird. Like how? No. Okay, so I'm gonna try something else. Nope. So I have a holder that looks like this. This will not be able to accommodate this. I was wondering if maybe any of the other dip nip holders would work. I think if I want to find them, I would need to pause. But maybe we can also try and see if we can get this. Okay, so how far do we think this needs to go in? This is too far out. Okay, let's see how far this goes in general. Okay. Okay. So I think I already got it to work okay on one side. So let's try and see. I feel like maybe I'm just too wild. I'm just not the right, but it sounds really good actually. Looks really good. But as you can see, it still moves over this way. I'm turning it and doing figure eights because I have found that if you only do one direction, it never really does work in all directions then. So let's try this again. Let's clean it and then dip it back in. Oh, super scratchy. Here, this is the sweet spot. Hello. I'm the sweet spot. Well, maybe we need to focus on that then. Okay. Cleaning it off, dipping water. Okay, so what if I come here now? Does this even do anything? No, it doesn't seem like it. Okay, let's try this. Ooh. Not good. This seems to be the sweet spot. I like this. What do you think? What if I go back to this one more time? Okay, gonna clean it off a little. Here is my rag. I don't really want to dip this whole thing with water into the... Okay, so we are going to try and see if it writes smoothly from all sides. So I'm turning it, as you can see. Feels like every time I'm doing something to the other edges, I'm messing up the one side that I just got okay. Okay, let's see. There we go. Nope. Nope. Oh my God. Very irritating. Now, obviously this was a gift, so I wanted to try it. She sent it to me because I wanted to try it, and I don't have any expectations towards this. This is just some fun play. Oh my God. When I find the sweet spot, as you can see right here, it is amazing. I feel like I would not be a fountain pen or a dip nib user during the time that you would use these kinds of things, because I would be so impatient and so annoyed by... Now I can't find the sweet spot again. So I would be so annoyed. And I will tell you, with finding the sweet spot, every time I redip, and maybe ha ha ha, nope. Is janky because it's old. But I would be so annoyed by the nib moving in the holder. But man, can you see how this looks? Isn't this just so cool? Overall, like, this is a 10 out of 10 for playing fun. And I wanted to see how I would like a glass dip nib in general, because I am so intrigued by glass dip nibs. I would love to own multiples to just use and play with for the interest in glass dip pens. I would love to hear if you have glass dip pens in your collection. Like, not necessarily this one, some of the cheaper options that you can get in places. And also, I would love to hear if you have, like, what's the price range in those glass dip pens, and if you have more expensive ones from these amazing Japanese makers, how do you use them? How often do you use them? How often do you pull them out? That is something that I'm like, that's why I haven't bought a glass dip pen yet. I was very, very close at the San Francisco Pen Show in 2024, actually. Like, that's so much time has gone by since then. But I'm still super intrigued. And when I'm going to the San Francisco Pen Show this year, that is one of the reasons I would actually go. I'm not necessarily interested in buying regular fountain pens, she says right now. I need to add this caveat because who knows what's going to happen tomorrow. But right now I'm like, I'm good, but I would love to fall into this side quest rabbit hole of glass dip pens. I'm definitely going to play with this more in the future. So this is not something that I'm gonna put aside and never pull out again. I'm so thankful for Isabel to send this over because it was so much fun to use. And I'm so glad I got to do this with you guys because, shared fun is more fun than just doing it all by myself. Now, my friend Susan sent me an article from the Uppercase magazine that I was subscribed to for a while, but I have found that I don't read the magazine, and so I decided I should not accumulate stuff that makes me feel guilty. So I unsubscribed. But there was an article in there about creative resistance, which is something that I found, especially in this time right now, I'm always wondering, is it okay for me to love the things that I love? Because I'm not directly affected by a lot of the things that are happening right now. How can I justify indulging in my joy when others are fearing for their existence? I've always grappled with this because it's not just happening. It's closer right now, but this disconnect or this dissonance in our lives always is happening all the time. There is often some civil war, maybe there is a military invasion in some place that is not close to home. This is closer than normal, than usual. And so I am grappling with these thoughts more, but I'm always like, a lot of the times I am thinking, so how come that I am allowed to be enjoying my amazing views, nature, hiking, and other people need to scramble to find dinner? Oh, this got heavy really quickly. But what I just really loved everything that stands out. I haven't completely read it because I wanted to save it for a special time, which is also not a good thing. Every act of creation seeds hope in ourselves and in others, and hope is no small thing. I love that. It is artists, however, who have sparked change in every single generation through the books they have written, the paintings they have created, and the music they have played. Caring for myself is not self-indulgence, it is self-preservation, and that is an act of political warfare. Are you exercising, eating well, drinking plenty of water? Are you sleeping enough? Are you disciplined about how much time you spend scrolling through social media? About examining the quality of the news sources you ingest? Does your heart remain open? When doom feels all-encompassing, when you feel like there's nothing you can do, reach for yourself. And it's just, yeah, I really want to read this article, and there were some books that were suggested in this with this article here that I want to check out and see if maybe my library has it. So if that is something that you're interested in, maybe I'll just put those titles right here and you can screenshot them and look at them. And maybe your library has them too, or you buy them if they convince you. But I just wanted to share this because I am struggling with this a lot, and the making art, looking at it as a form of resistance, of creating hope, helps me so much to get a grasp on that. I feel like I'm not making sense. I hope you understand what I'm trying to say. And now let's get on to some safer waters. Maybe this is actually connected to it in general, but I have been feeling extremely disconnected with myself. I've been physically exhausted, I've been mentally exhausted, and I think that is the reason for that is mainly due to what is happening in the world right now. So there's no denying that, and it doesn't seem to stop anytime soon. So I need to find coping mechanisms in order to keep being myself. And what I've noticed in the past months or so is I never really thought that I didn't have time to indulge in my own creativity, but it has just hit me in the head so much that I'm getting up in the morning, I'm going to work, I'm going for a walk or a hike with Max. He needs a lot of exercise. I'm making dinner and then I'm tired. And then I sit there, maybe I watch some YouTube. Maybe if I can get myself to journal, I journal. And then I go to bed and then I rinse and repeat every day. And I'm looking forward to the weekend when I'm home and can indulge in my hobbies a little more, but also I don't want to overdo it. I want to spend time with my family. I want to maybe do other things. I haven't even talked about cleaning yet. And so I feel like this knowledge that I don't really have a lot of time just resurfaced so hard these past 2 weeks. And I've been thinking about what I can do to I don't suddenly have more time. So what can I do in order to make my life more easy? And it started in an interesting way, actually, which is that I recently started the Making Diaries. It's a new video series, and I found that by identifying creative projects that I want to focus my mind on every month, so just reflecting a little in the beginning of the month, what did I do this last month? Or at the end of a month, what did I do this last month? How did I enjoy doing those things? What am I going to do next month? What creative projects do I want to focus my energy on? Just made me overall more satisfied. And so this is my February projects list. And we are moving towards the end of February. I'm filming this a week before you see it. So it's February 21st today. And I've been really getting a lot of the things done that I had put onto this list. There's some that I didn't cross off because I'm still working on them. And there's things that I want to adjust. But so in general, I'm feeling more fulfilled. And so that led me to, through Discord, someone asked about how do you keep track of all your social media? And I used to do that, very involved actually. For instance, in December of 2020, I would have a monthly calendar. I would plop the videos in here, and then I would have a chart here with the video titles or the work in progress titles, and then I would have a list, a tracker of where I was in the process of working on this video. And I shared this, and then I didn't think much of it, but at the same time, I personally have been struggling with my YouTube schedule because I made a list of the videos that I wanted to film. But then for some reason, every time I wanted to film, I'm like, what exactly did I want to film again? And how can I make sure that I don't forget this or that? And I recently was gifted these monthly stickers here. These ones right here that I used to plop in the video titles, but instead of putting them in for planning purposes, I just put them in here as a kind of like a historical memento, which doesn't help for not forgetting the things that I actually want to film as a video. And then, you know, I'm sitting here ruminating on my thoughts, and then I came up with the idea, what if I made this, is this a flow chart? I don't really know. Gantt chart for my progress update. So I have February right here, and then I made, here's March, and then I made an accompanying flowchart list right here for all the videos for remainder of February and March are all in here. Because there's sometimes a video that I really want to film, but it just doesn't fit into the schedule right now. I have some collaborations, commitments that I knowingly went in, and a learning aspect of this definitely is that the moment the package for this collaboration arrived, I started to feel stressed. And so I'm trying to get rid of that stress so that I don't have to feel like I constantly think about that specific collaboration. So, okay, so now let me plan. So what are the videos that I want to make every month? What are the videos that I want to film about these collaboration videos and stuff? And so I went from this randomly sticking in the monthly schedule right here to this. This is April, where I have the month here and then that flow chart, Gantt chart right next to it. So I can work on the videos as I feel like it. I also can put in, when there's vacation time and my son is off school and we might go away. So can I make sure that I have the videos filmed for that? Obviously, I could now fall into the trap of having to stick to this schedule to a T and then being stressed about that as well. But right now, I am very happy to report that I'm not letting this happen to me just yet. That is one of the reasons why I stopped planning my videos in the first place, was because I was trapping myself with this schedule here. I slaved away at making these plans happen instead of using an eraser and just redistributing them and maybe spreading them out, dropping things that I didn't enjoy. So I always struggle with finding a balance between not doing anything at all and then over planning or over stressing about the schedule. There is no gray zone for me. It's either yes or no. Either I'm 100% committed or I'm not committed at all. And so I'm trying this again because at this time, right now, I am feeling so much better having this than when I didn't have it a week ago, before I sat down, made this schedule. I was so inspired and so in it that I actually made and plopped in all the videos all the way through to the end of May, June. And it wasn't like I did this because I had to. I just, I could do this then and stuff. I don't have any topics for the snippets from my desk videos, but yeah, it just happened. And I'm super, super glad because it gives me a structure that I didn't have before and that I seem to be craving right now. I'm telling you all this because it's always important to reflect on the things that you're doing and see if they're still working. Sometimes you need a lot of structure, sometimes you don't. And so if there's something off right now, maybe you need to plan more. Maybe you need to plan less. Because then, while I was looking at this book, I also found this. Let me see if I can find it. Maybe it's further in the front here. Here, for instance, this is not the one that I found, but I did weekly reviews from my planning and how my week went every single week in 2020. Yes. Well, I still worked. I did not stay home during the pandemic, except for in the beginning. But I had time to sit here, write down unfinished tasks, what didn't go well, what went well, and what I wanted to focus on next week. And when I looked at this, I was like, why am I not doing this anymore? Is there a reason? Because this would maybe even help me not feel so lost in my life at the moment. So I went back into my planner that I'm very sparingly using at the moment. This is a brain dump, but I'm not very intensely using this. Now, it to plan my life, I don't really need this big size of a planner, I have realized. But I really love the size and I want to make the most out of this. So what I'm trying to do, or what I'm trying to figure out, is how I can use these weekly pages better. I want to put, because now I have a YouTube schedule, I can actually write down the videos that I want to film every weekend. So that is something that I'm going to put in here. But I also want to come back and do a weekly review on a weekly basis. Sunday afternoon would be the perfect weekly review time. If that is not a good time, maybe I need to end my week on Saturday in the morning when I'm filming this right now. Maybe before I film this, I work in my weekly review. And then instead of possibly putting all of the different to-dos for the week over here, I can put them here, because in general, this is not necessary. I don't really need this to refer back to my planner like this. Maybe my planner looks different than a regular weekly spread. I do have these, so I do want to use them. But I could do house chores up here. Maybe things that I want to do creatively this week. Things that I need to do outside the house. Errands that I need to run. And then I have this page, YouTube videos I want to film, maybe mail that I want to write, like all of the stuff that I want to do in a week, I want to put onto this spread. And then usually or often I come in here and use this very similar to a basically a daily log from the bullet journal method. And so I don't necessarily need this to figure out what I want to do every day. This is my daily check-in, my brain dump. When I have an idea, I write it down here. And I totally love this. For one, here's all of my Valentine happy mail that I sent out. And then here's my projects that I can refresh myself. What exactly did I want to do? And now I'm not exactly I'm not over diving in here with extreme enthusiasm. And there's a reason for that, because I am extremely afraid that this is going to become a hyper focus, and then I am overdoing it so much so that it's hurting me. And so I'm trying to approach this from that, very cautiously, very slowly. Where I want to be at some point is to have a weekly plan here, a weekly review on this page that benefits me, instead of me diving into this, overdoing it, and then actually harming myself by overdoing it. So here's the other thing that I've been struggling with. I push away the meal prep for sitting in front of the TV and watching YouTube. So then in the morning on Mondays, I scramble to prep all of my snacks for the week, because I already know that it's more helpful to prep them all for the week instead of doing it every single day. Because the likelihood that I take a snack to work, if I prep it every single day, is far less than if it's already there and I only have to grab it. So then I came up with the idea, what if I actually sat down and wrote out a ideal daily schedule, which is now, yes, I can see that it's overshooting it by a lot. But I have been struggling with my making diaries. I have been struggling with knitting, and I do really want to knit. And it's not just that I like the idea of myself knitting, I just want to do it regularly. And so I thought that would be something that would be on my ideal list. 15 minutes of knitting, maybe before I journal, or I journal first and then I knit the last 15 minutes before I go and start doing my bedtime routine, you know? So that would be super cool, because I'm also not doing my PT exercises for my back, which I'm noticing, because every morning there's something else that I need to scramble to do. And so having an idea and maybe actually deep diving and scheduling out my days to see where are some time windows, like all the way. I want to get up at this, I'm getting up at this time, I'm eating breakfast this time, I'm doing my PT exercises then, brushing my teeth before I leave for work, then commute, work, going home, going for a walk. This is how much time it takes. This is how much time it takes to make dinner and be done with it. And this is how much time I have left after dinner. What am I exactly doing after dinner? How much time am I spending? When am I going to bed? All of these things could either tell me that I need to get up 5 hours more earlier than I usually do, or they will show me windows where I am doom scrolling, not doing anything, where I could, instead of doom scrolling, maybe sit down with a friend video and knit for 15 minutes. That could be a thing. So that's all the thoughts that I had recently. And what I'm learning at this moment is that I want to make sure that I'm doing the chores. I want to plan them in to my weekly and daily routines more and better, so that I feel more content with myself, because I was able to accomplish, instead of just, thinking about the things that I want to do and leaving it at there, figuring out what would be a good time during this week to actually tackle that task. Which I know some people do that already, and this is probably part of the regular planning process, but I'm currently realizing again that this might be very helpful for me. So that's where I am. I will report back on how the planning goes. I am, as I said, trying to make sure that I am not falling into a hyper-focused trap. But yeah, there's that. And I'm mildly excited about it. I'm actually already working on something. I'm changing the bed sheets. Yay! And I am curious to see how this weekly review is going to work for me. I haven't done one in a long time. But one thing that I don't want to do is do it on camera. So, yeah, I've been a planner for a little bit right now. Like it's creeping back into my life. I've also kept a tracker for my currently inked. It's hidden. So here is my cheat sheet. And here on the back, I have a tracker to see where I am with logging the pens and inks in all the different books that I'm using. There is going to be maybe, actually, if you watch this, it's already there, the video before this, where I talk about all of the different books and not planners. I'm not planning anything really in my fountain pen journey yet. Where I talk about all the different books that I'm using, all the journals, all the swatch books, all the different forms of logging my pens. And so I started putting this tracker on the back of my cheat sheet so that I can also not have to think about and remember the things, that I can just easily see what I still want to do. And there's the big thing. If it doesn't happen, it's not a big issue for me. And I think maybe before I felt compelled to obsess about completing these trackers. This is more a, hey, okay, I don't really need to go into the swatch book because I already swatched all of these inks. Oh, if I want to do this, then these would be the pens that still benefit from going into this specific binder. That's kind of how I feel about it. And I haven't done the bottles in my binder yet, or I have done 4, but I still want to add 1, 2, 3, 4 more. And so I thought we could do that together because playing with ink is always a good idea. So the way that I do this is with ink and water. Let me see if I need to prep anything. So I do need to find the pens that I still haven't, the inks that I still haven't logged. Opus 88, the Visconti, and the Skogsy. All right. So these are 4 inks. And then I need to find the ink bottles for that. I need the Anderillium Moray Eel Green. I need Pannonia Ink Dependence Navy Beans. I need Pannonia Stationary Universe Midnight Morpho. And I need Diamine Sugar Turtle Studio Warm Heart. So these are the inks. And the tools that I'm using in this swatch book are my wind blower, my Kakimori brass dip nib, and my trusty old swizzle stick. And what I'm doing is I'm creating a page that looks kind of like this. I have started to do them differently. I don't add these weird plantsies things down here. This is a more how it's looking right now. I'm just adding some drops here. I'm moving the ink. I'm adding the name of the ink. Then I'm making a line, and then I'm tracking the pens underneath. And so I do not have pages for any of those. Let's check one more time. There's Amarillo, which would be before Anderillium, and it's not here yet. So I need 4 pieces of paper. Wow, this is hard. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. And I need some paper underneath. Let me grab it. So, inks maybe go up here, even though they cast shadows. Then we can put the pens up there. There's water right here. And so let's start. Let's start with Anderillium Moray Eel Green. Are you tracking any inks and pens? How do you do this? I don't. If you've watched the video yesterday, you already know that I don't feel like any of this is necessary. I do it because I enjoy playing with the stuff, and it's another form of playing. So I'm just giving myself yet another outlet. But yeah, I would love to hear if you do any of these. I mean, there's so many different ways to use inks and to play with them. And on the one hand, I want to believe that I'm very utilitarian with my fountain pens. But on the other hand, I really also enjoy the aspect of playing with this stuff. Now I kind of feel like I need a piece of blotting paper here. And because I love organizing things, I love making lists, this is very, very easy to, not justify necessarily, because I'm very firmly believing that everything you do with your inks and pens is valid. There's no right or wrong way to use all of those things. Which sounds really weird, because obviously a fountain pen is very easily used to write, but now it's starting to come green. So this is how I set up the page. And then I do this for every ink once. And then when I ink a pen with an ink from a bottle, this is only for my ink bottles, then I will log it on this page, and I will be able to see how the ink looks in the pen. Sometimes when I'm not sure if the ink has, like if there's an evaporation, I don't so I'm usually like, seeing, is it the actual color? Has it evaporated a little? Do I need to write with it for a tiny bit? Because then I can see, and there's one that I can show you later on where it's very obvious. So this is the Aurora Optima with a fine flex. And then I write in the 2 lines right here how I feel about this pen and ink combination. And what I do think is that this swampy green This swampy green flows extremely well in the pen. I enjoy the writing experience. The flex is kind of a joke. I find this flex not very prone to flexing. It doesn't. I have another pen, the Pilot FA nib, where it wants to flex. It's not unusable, unflexed, but it's very easy to flex the pen. It's like, hey, I could flex too, And this one is more like, if you really want me to flex, I can. And that is not necessarily why I purchased the pen in the first place. So I'm totally okay with that. But it's still a fine flex nib, and it is kind of a joke. And then I put them aside to dry, and then I sort them into the binder alphabetically. by ink brand and then by name so that I can easily find them again. All right, next one. And that's basically all I do. And at some point in time, theoretically, I should not ever have to set up one of these pages again because I already have all of them in the binder. And the paper that I'm using is basically leftover Tomoe River paper that I took out of books that weren't complete for one or another reason. And so I just, took the pages apart and cut them, hole punched them, and now they are able to be used in the binder. I also have loose leaf paper that I purchased from Paper Penguin Co. at some point. This is going really far down. I don't want this to be taking up too much space on the page. But clearly, this is not listening to me. Wow. Okay, I feel like this is good enough. I might annoy a lot of people with this statement now, but these light purple inks, I really love to swatch them, and I can't wait to actually make an ink play page in my ink play journal, which is actually the only journal that I forgot to show in my video yesterday. Nobody knows it though, so it doesn't matter. I really love swatching them. I really love this color specifically, but I find them extremely boring in my fountain pens. What I have to say about this though is that it is super well lubricated, or at least in the pen that I'm using it's flowing really well, which is something that is very important to me. It's nothing worse than a drier ink in a dry pen. Okay, so let's dip this, let's clean this, and then use this right here. This is the Visconti and because I'm doing this basically only for myself, I am not writing the full title of the pen out because it doesn't really matter. I only have one Visconti. First of all, I only have one Visconti pen, so I would only have to write Visconti, but I only have one Visconti Homo sapiens, and the likelihood that I am getting another one is extremely minimal, and so I just don't bother to write the whole thing. I could repeat myself over and over again. So flows so lovely in the pen. I enjoy writing with it. However, the color is so boring. So maybe it would need to be in one where it shades more, but then also if it's not legible anymore, that's also something that I don't like. However, the color is so boring in the pen. But man, the writing experience, so good, so good. And that's what I write. Most likely the repetition in the phrasing is extremely big, and I don't really care about that. But for instance, look at how this looked. This is when I did not take care of the evaporation, but also this was such a wet writer that the difference in the color would have been very much like this. Or here, how it's writing differently in different pens. And I really enjoy seeing that. And that's what this specific notebook is for. Like writer's blood in this pen and this pen. Or here. So yeah, and I would assume that if I ever would get to the bottom of this page and then on the back side, that I would just add another one in. But I would feel like it's going to take quite a long time. So that's what this notebook is for. Instead of seeing how inks perform in different nibs, I'm seeing how the same ink performs in different nibs. So if in my one logbook, I have it sorted by pen, which then shows me how different inks perform in the same nib. There we go. And then this one shows me how the same ink performs in different nibs. All right. And technically, you don't have to do either one of these. Or if you were thinking about, I would like to log something, it would be a good idea to think about what is more important to me. Do I want to see the inks and how, like, do I want to see this, or would I rather see how each pen performs with different inks? And as I said, I just do this because I'm curious about the long term, and because if I have time, I am happy to play a little with my stuff. You know, it gives me time to just sit here and do mindless splatters right here with this air blower and just sit here watching the ink dry, having a good time. But now my thought has completely left the station without me. Where was I going with this? Yeah, it could be worth thinking about what is more important to me. What do I want to see? And then build your logbook according to the things that are more important to you. Oh yes, I remember the thought that I had and that I wanted to clarify, diamine. So I am not beating myself up. So Sugar Turtle Studio. I need to write, I can't talk. Warm Heart. So, if I, for some reason, it's a stressful month, I have pens inked, I write them dry, I clean them out, and then they're not locked in here. Cool. I'm not beating myself up about not finishing all of the different, like not logging all the things that I would care to log. This is something that I want to enjoy instead of something that I feel like I have to do. And right now, I am sometimes there is a Saturday where I want to do something. What could I do? Oh, I could log my pens in this book. Perfect. That's what I'm doing. So this tracker that you see here is for what could I do? I don't feel like journaling. I don't feel like creative journaling. I want to play with my pens. Where could I play with my pens? And that's where that comes in. I love cataloging things. Skogsy low volume eyedropper with an extra fine architect. And this is 21 karat gold nib. Yeah, so I am a cataloger at heart. I wanted to become a librarian at some point in my life. And this, I feel like, is totally playing to that specific, that specific cataloging, organizing heart of mine. Obviously, if you want to play with your inks, you could write a letter. You could do some artsy fartsy stuff. Nothing is off limits. But this is what I enjoy doing as well. And so that's why I'm doing it. All right. So, OMG, this color is so loud, but also so enjoyable. Not sure how this works. It flows well and makes the nib shine. All right. Now for the last one, which is not such a great writing experience. This is Pannonia Ink Dependence Navy Beads. And I have thought about why maybe this is not working as well as I want it to work. I don't know how I agitated this ink bottle before I used it, before I filled this pen. So maybe there's a lot of pigment in here. So this is a ink that has pigment additives. Instead of shimmer, there is a pink pigment added to the ink. And that might be the reason. Oh wow, this is way too much color. We will have so much ink over here. Well, that doesn't matter. It just doesn't write nicely. It doesn't flow well. It feels like it's gunky, but it doesn't make sense that it's gunky. I don't enjoy this writing experience with this pen at all. But also, it's a new to me nib, and it might just be the nib. You know, I might just not be a Pilot Custom 74 medium girl, even though I thought this fine medium person, even though I thought this was the solution to my problem. I don't have any pen problems. I just thought I would probably enjoy this because I'm really drawn to the finer nibs at the moment. But this combo is just not doing it for me. And so as I'm in the very beginning stages of this pen nib journey, I can't pinpoint exactly what the problem is. It might be the pigment in the ink. It might just be the nib. It might, I don't know. See, it might be the ink and the nib don't play nicely with each other. But that's why sometimes there is times that I just need to get some more playtime with a specific nib. Pannonia. And there's some interesting things ruminating in my mind right now. Ink dependence. I've been thinking about sharing my thoughts on when I know that it is time to let go of a pen. And which maybe I still need to ruminate on that thought in general, because for some reason I just seem to know that this pen needs to go now. And sometimes I'm playing with some pens forever. Like, for instance, my Lamy 2000 that I purchased in 2022, I believe. I have a pen journal now, and I also have this pen logged already, so I can actually look it up. I purchased it in November of 2022, right here. And I enjoyed it-ish. In the beginning, it had an extra fine nib. I inked it quite often, actually, because I just wasn't sure if the ink was right, if I liked the pen. So I inked it very frequently. Then I was able to try a fine nib, really like that. Ended up purchasing the fine nib, selling the extra fine nib, kept the pen body, everything was still here. And then I inked that quite frequently. Then I purchased a medium nib for that pen. Tried the medium nib once. Was super broad. Not sure that I liked it. Went back to the fine. And so I've been inking that pen for so many times, for so much. And I still have it, and I still enjoy using it. And it's currently a pen that I don't think I'd part with. But I'm already thinking I really should ink it with the medium nib attached really soon, because I want to see how that feels again. And then there's pens that I try once or twice, and I'm like, no, this is not it. And I would love to share a video, which then means I have to put those decisions, those thoughts about these decisions onto paper, or at least into a video, so that I can convey how I'm making those decisions. But actually, mostly, it's just gut feeling that I'm letting go of pens. But then we have another level that comes in. So this is a Franken pen. This is the Opus 88 demo. And this is a fine medium Pilot 14 karat gold nib. I don't think I need to write anything else. So when I write with it, it writes gunky, I think, is what I would call this. And this is the weirdest feeling. It's not enjoyable, and I can't pinpoint why. On TRP, it's okay, but every other paper it's not. But it feels gunky. And then I will add a question mark at the end. Because when I look at this now, I'm like, what's my problem, man? What is it? It doesn't seem to be when I'm writing with it, but it still doesn't feel right. So I just need to figure out what the heck is wrong with this. So when I went to the Philly Pen Show, I got so many nibs ground, and I feel like a lot of people have that sense that I don't like this pen. Let me get it ground so I like it more. And I actually think that that is the completely different approach to this matter. And I just like, the idea is, should I sell this pen or get rid of it? Or should I get it ground? And when does this even matter? And when doesn't it matter? That's kind of like where I wanted to go with that video. And I also have one video that I want to talk about soon. I already filmed my currently inked review video. So I've done all of these, and I actually also did all of those. This is basically the only must. I log these, or my thoughts and feelings about each pen and nib and ink pairing, after I do a journaling entry so that it's fresh in my mind. And in order to form an opinion about the pen, I really like writing, like before I can film a currently inked review, this needs to be there. So I want to make a rubric for how I judge my pens and inks, so that at the end there is an objective. Is that what it is? It's not subjective, it's objective number that ranks my pens and ink pairings every month. So that's something that I want to think about too. Because if we can, why not? All right, so now these all need to get into the binder. And then I'm done. And I hope you had a lot of fun hanging out with me, because I sure did. I got some of the things done that they're fun doing them by myself, but they're definitely more fun with company. Pannonia. Oh, this is completely different. So, Pannonia ink dependence. I think this is dry already. So, Stationary Universe is after. Maybe we'll just do this. Yep, it actually was dry. And then Stationary Universe. What else do we have? Diamine and Enduroleum goes all the way into the front. And every time I flip through this, I'm like, oh, I need to ink this in a pen. Okay, and then Diamine. Collaborations go in the back? Yeah, sure. Whatever. I think I already did one because we have... Where is my Diamine ink dependence one? Did I not do one for that? Weird. Let me see. C, D, E, F, G, H. Oh. Interesting. I think I'll move this to the front because I don't think that I will remember having this here. So I'm going to put them at the end of Diamine. Diamine Wagner, Diamine Writer's Blood here. So these go here. Ink Dependence comes before Sugar Turtle, then here. All right. That's it. I so appreciate you being here. I hope you are doing well. I hope the weather where you are is treating you nicely. I hope you get lots of vitamin D and taking a lot of good care of yourself. Being that by planning your life or also deciding not to plan your life, And I hope you have a wonderful week. I will see you next week. Until next time, bye.